You know what time it is. It's time to speak again, as we do on time every single time. A continuation of the continuation, as there is no beginning nor there is an end. It is simply is, right? So, the art of doing nothing. Yeah, yeah. This is the one thing that is rarely taught to us, but truly have to be experienced. And then you will realize doing nothing actually grants you everything. Our mind is always thinking, there's always a narrative running in the background. Do it like this, do it like that. Or you saw another consciousness did it in the way that they did it, and now they're selling it to you on exactly how they do it so that you can adopt it and hopefully achieve the same achievement that they got. But of course, this is a belief system, right? It only works so long you believe it, right? If you tell your subconscious mind that it is true, then therefore it is. So when you try to enact what they did, but you don't believe it as much as they do, no surprise it doesn't work, isn't it? But then if you simply retreat back to your neutral self, as God is extremely neutral, it just watches everything unfolds with no strings attached, no emotions attached, you will find that this is where we should be. Mind you, the art of doing nothing doesn't mean complacentness. It means simply getting out the way of yourself, right? Setting aside the ego, setting aside the conscious mind, and essentially living within the subconscious, because the subconscious is doing everything and is always connected to everything, you know. A quick metaphor that I can use. You have the head above the shoulders. This is what we consider the consciousness. Very small, isn't it? A bit petite, yeah? Where the mind resides, yeah? And of course, beneath the shoulders, the neck, or beneath the head is the body of what we call the subconscious. And underneath here, there is numerous of activities happening that the conscious mind cannot fathom to try to manage nor control. So it don't even bother with it at all and allows the subconscious to do what it does all the time, right? Which is do nothing. And everything is being done, right? When you achieve this state of being, you realize that life is doing itself, and life know how to do itself the best because that is what it was designed to do. We are simply mere specters. We are simply here to witness it all, to experience it all. Can you sit back and just simply experience? Can you quiet down or diminish the narrative that you had in your head about a certain situation that occurred? Are you able to allow the situation to just be? Or do you just have to quickly give it meaning, right? Quickly feed it. Feeding it essentially feeds the conscious mind and the ego, which is a localized database. But down here, it's unlocalized. It has access to everything, doesn't it? That's what that means. We're always trying to achieve a goal. We're always trying to get to a place. It seems so far away, but then of course, the moment you are able to cease these things or dial back the dial of doing, needing, achieving, and you just allow life to be, there is a certain liberation that can be obtained. You know, you relinquish this illusion of control because it is indeed an illusion, right? There's nothing here to control besides what the ego mind tells itself to try to control, right? And so it masquerades until you spiral inward, right? Spiral outward, inward, outward is both directions the same simultaneously. And then you come to a realization, and it's a profound one, right? That it just is. Whether it's playing out a story, whether it's scripted, whether it's simulated, I mean, those perspectives are indeed perspectives. But of course, we like to stay in a foundational truth of things, that indeed there is nothing going on besides what you tell yourself that it is. But if you don't tell yourself anything, and just witness it, right? It becomes even more amazing. it of course. What? What do I do? Do I give it meaning as to what happened? Nah. I think this is a perfect fine-tuned example. The tablet just folded on itself. And I can care less, isn't it? Do I edit this portion out? Nah. I actually don't even think. I'm just flowing. That happened exactly for me to explain, that it is what it is. Of course, with the magic of editing, I have the power to narrate a story. That's even a word. To tell the story how I wanted to tell it and how I wanted to perceive it. But this is fine. This is quite beautiful. I love that happened, you see. And so within that happening, essentially tells the story itself to the point that I do not require to edit anything. And that's fire. That's fire. Right? Hello. How are you? What's up? Of course, the star that you are. Awareness, witnessing awareness. That's fire. Yeah. Anywho, get out of the way of yourself. Like, for real, for real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Get out of the way of yourself, dog. Like, you are infinite. You are source. You are the very source that animates reality. Like, you animate this reality, dog. Believe it or not. What's there to worry about? What's there to trip about? Look how fantastic this is. And we're using the five senses within our body to see everything that there is, right? But of course, this is not everything, for there is an underlying energy underneath it. You are that. But how much do you know about you? I see you. I see you. That's fire. I just seen Avatar this past Friday, and very, very spiritual movie. In my perspective, of course, it could just be mere entertainment to anybody else, but as we know, consciousness like to tell stories about consciousness, and they would do it in a manner that enables you to see it for what it is according to how you're vibrating, correct? Or maybe not. Another thing that we tell ourselves, since we have language, right? We can speak and say these things in a very creative way, in a very creative manner, for this is creation itself, where everything is creation, everything is consciousness. Speaking to, analyzing, being aware of consciousness, right? And that is a very foundational truth. Of course, interchange consciousness for God, awareness, Jesus, Buddha, drama, Brahma. I said drama. Oh. This is sort of a drama, huh? Shakespeare. Anywho, yeah, it's all fire, right? Fire and ash. Let me stop. But no, Avatar is pretty cool. I advise people, mover watchers or entertainers alike, to definitely go watch it. It's pretty fantastic. As you see, I just tap my third eye and say, I see you. But of course, we're not talking about the physical eyes. We're talking about the one that is more visible when we close these ones, when we shut these eyes, right? We shut off the body, there is another eye. And this eye is essentially everywhere, right? Hence remote reviewing, which is a whole another tantrum of a topic. But the art of doing nothing. Yeah, yeah. You will find that everything is at its place all the time, right? But it simply requires a shift, which is what we call a realization. And you'll be like, damn, I've always been here. It was never separated from me. I created the illusion itself to say that it was separated from me. So therefore, I created a whole story for me to go and seek out and do. But then when that story finishes, you return back to a neutral state of not doing anything. You see, sometimes this state will happen. It will come to you. You know what I'm saying? Of you not doing anything, and then suddenly you find yourself having everything, or achieving what it is that you are looking to achieve. It's like a realization for sure, and a snap of a finger, bam. It was taking years and years and years, and now you're there. So did it really take years? Or is that something that we're telling ourselves to make it make sense of what's actually really happening? For it is perception, a matter of a moment or a decade. Time is interesting like that. Although it does dictate a lot of things, yeah, inside of me there is no time, for I am beyond it. Even outside of me, when you are able to expand your awareness, you are beyond it. You are simply perceiving it or just watching it. Yeah. Time is thought. The moment I start thinking, I remove myself from the now, right? I remove myself from here when I engage my thoughts. But then when I don't engage my thoughts, I have the ability to suddenly shift to here, now, which everything lies, right? Why do you think you feel more alive when you're not busy doing much of anything? It's profound. This ought to be taught. I'm sure it's taught to us in a way that is not so direct, for it is creation. Everything is a metaphor and simile. For you have to dig, or use the neocortex to critically think. And you don't have to critically think at all. I got to sneeze. It came out of nowhere. But what is nowhere? Hey man, I like to ask these questions. And I think the answers is irrelevant. It's just the fact that you seek these questions out, certain things start to happen. Oh, another sneeze. Interesting enough, I start to sneeze when I'm recording this video, but prior to this, we were just chilling, isn't it? What's happening? Salud. Anywho, I think that is, look, I'm thinking, so therefore I remove myself from the now. Instead of allowing it to just be what it is, I'm now looking to narrate it, right? And be like, all right, it's time for me to cut the video off and continue on my merry way. But even that self allows me to say more things, isn't it? But that's the thing about it, man. There's always so much to say. And it's a good thing that we split ourselves up in infinite ways because everybody has something to say, right? It is all a full circle. It all comes back down to that one path, which is yourself. It is you. You are the path to which you are walking towards or to. It all comes right back to you. For real, for real. It's a fascinating thing to know and witness, or even tell oneself, right? Because from there you can just dictate the rest of your life and embody what you say and what you preach, what you teach, and just walk it your merry way. And whatever happens, happens. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there.